All right, guys. Well, today we're going to be showing you how to get the Tesla Generation 3 charger installed on a single family residence. Let's open up the box and let's see what's inside. Basically, we're going to go through a whole um, narration of what you find inside of the Tesla Gen 3 charger. It's super fast, it has the variable speeds, and this is what it looks like. All right, let's get to it. So this is the cable. This one is a 24-foot cable. It comes with the new, Tesla. It used to come with the 18-foot. They also have an 8-footer, but this little tab right here is usually you pull it and the back comes off. In this case, it was broken. It never was welded together properly, and all it is just helps take off this back part. This back part is what you mount to the wall. Right there is one knockout for the top, one knockout for the bottom. There's also two knockouts in the middle um, that you can go in through the back. The bottom has the screws, the top has the screws for mounting. Right here, this is where line one goes, line two, and the ground. There's a little ground symbol right there. It tells you how to properly torque the wires. There's a little QR code for programming the charger. So just like anything, you want to have a good idea of where you're going to put this installed. In this case, I'm going to be installing it in the exterior of the house on a stucco wall. There's also the instructions and this little piece of paper that you'll need to program the charger. Here are the bolts and the zip tie that comes with the charger. The nuts and screws are to, there's no nuts, it's just the black screws to mount the face of the charger to the back of the charger. Here I'm just showing you the conduit run that I already ran. It goes from the outside of the house into the attic, back outside to the back of the house. It's about a 100-foot run, and then into the 200 amp electrical panel. Here I already had the dead front off. The power is live. As you can see, it's 200 amps. On the side right here, I'll tell you it's a square D panel, 200 amp main breaker, 200 amp bus bar, single phase. It's a 2040 panel, meaning that there's 20 spaces, 40 circuits you could put. Um, don't forget to install your ground bushing. So everything I do it to code because being a licensed, certified uh, electrician in California, C10, also EVITP certified for electric vehicle chargers. Um, I can only do it the right way. So you want to have ground bushings on both sides of the pipe. Here I'm just saying that you could mount this any way you like. Those are knockouts to go through the back if you want to go with Romex inside of the wall. In this case, I'm using the top knockout for the pipe coming in from the top of the charger. There's no particular way of mounting this. You could put the screws anywhere you want, securing it to the wall. I just pre-drilled some holes. If you're using some tech screws or self-tapping screws, you don't even have to do the pre-holes, but I drill it just to make it cleaner, and then I mark it up on the wall where the holes are going to go, and then I use a stucco bit to drill into the wall. I use these blue inserts when I'm using stucco, or you could use toggle bolts. I like using toggle bolts inside the garage or on drywalls. Um, Also with stucco, if the stucco is pretty brittle. But in this case, I just use these little blue inserts, stick them in, hit them in with a little hammer, or in this case, channel locks. Do it to all four of them, and then put your charges back on the wall and properly secure it. I just use regular hex screws. Now, once the conduit is on and the housing is all on there, you have to put a insulated ground bushing. Now, that's just because I'm doing it to code and the inspectors want to see that. So, but again, most people don't install those. I do them on every single installation on both ends of the conduit. So it helps for bonding the conduit itself, and and also it's also insulated, so it doesn't fray your wires. So make sure you put that on there nice and tight, not too tight. You want to have that hole right there facing towards you, so that once you put the grounding lug on there later, and you put the ground wire through it, you'll be able to turn that to the left or the right. All the connectors, you want to make sure that for outdoor rated purposes, it has that little yellow bushing. Some of them are green, blue, yellow, whatever. As long as they have the yellow or the rubber rain tight bushing inside. Here I'm just showing that you're also going to need a pipe bender. This is a 3/4 inch pipe bender. It has all the different angles, so it shows you're going to need some practice on learning how to bend pipe, but most of the people that are watching this video already know how to bend pipe. It's a 3/4 inch EMT, electrical metal tubing. The little arrow and the star are very important parts on that bender. Here, I already wired everything. I pulled the wire, already had the conduit done before the video. So make sure that you put the ground wire through the ground bushing and then turn it, okay? So that the faceplate goes around. That zip tie that came with the uh, package, you want to put it right there to to zip tie all your wires together. Put your ground on the far left, line 1 and line 2 on the right side. Here it doesn't matter if you have the red or the black flip-flopped, as long as they are landed in there properly. Make sure you don't have any strangled wires dangling where it arcs or touches or zaps. On the top are the screws for the mounting, for the faceplate. There's 2 screws on the top and 2 at the bottom. I like to wrap my the cord like this, just for purposes for the pictures, but it's not really needed. Here I'm showing that originally there was those 4 breakers there, standard breakers. I removed those 4 and I installed these slim breakers. So we have 2 circuits per spot. That's where the 2040 rule not rule, but a type of panel comes in. That you could put there's 20 spaces in this panel, but you can actually put 40 circuits. In this picture right here, you'll see that there's 2 breakers, but 4 circuits. And that gave me space to install our 60 amp breaker. This charger is a variable speed. It goes from a 20 amp 2-pole breaker, a 30 amp, 40, 50, or even a 60 amp breaker. So depending on what breaker you're using, you're going to need that type of 2-pole breaker. Also, depending on the type of breaker you're using, you're going to have to size your conductors correctly. For example, the 60 amp breaker, we're using a 6-gauge wire. The grounding, a 10-gauge wire. And the ground is, of course, green, black and red for line 1 and line 2, just to identify the different phases. Make sure you land the green on the bus bar. This is a main panel, so on this application, they separated the neutrals and the grounds, even though it is not needed. In the main service panel, that bar that you see, it runs all the way through and it links both neutral bar and bus bar together. So separating the grounds and the neutrals doesn't have anything, it doesn't do anything, because inside the main electrical panel, they're all bonded and connected together. That rule only applies to sub panels. That's where you have to separate your neutrals and grounds. Make sure you put the dead front back on before turning the power on, and then you turn the breakers on one at a time, all until they're all back on. Don't forget to label the EV breaker properly. The city inspectors want to see that for easy identifiable. There you go. Breaker is on, the charger is on, and now that that's complete, we have to go in and program the charger. These chargers come already programmed with a 60 amp breaker, 48 amp output. But I like to double check to make sure that it's there, because after we leave, 99% of the time, the homeowner never goes into the app to see how fast it's charging. Something to know that some vehicles only charge at 32 amps max. And then some of them charge up to, like, more than that. So here I'm showing you that once you do the configuration, you're going to want to take a picture of that QR code, and it's going to identify the Wi-Fi. It's going to show you right there, Tesla wall connector. You click on that, and then it automatically takes you to the setup. This setup right here, again, it's already set up for you, but I like to double check it. So you're going to go in, place, what country you're in, United States. Um, Select the type of breaker you are installing, 60 amp, 30, 40, 50 amp, whatever it is. In this case, I selected the 60 amp breaker, and then you hit save or next. When you see this right here, the red, those little Wi-Fi, it says disabled. That's because I'm not using Wi-Fi. The software, it's in red also. All that means is that firmware needs to be updated. And basically, you can update it for the customers. I really don't care about doing that because it takes time. And if you're not even linked into their network, it takes forever to do the uploads and downloads. So as long as you have your settings configured right for the breaker size, that's all that really matters. Now, if you got nothing to do, yeah, go ahead and update everything for them. Anyways, pretty simple, all done, ready to. Now that we're all done, for the inspection, for the inspectors, after you program it, make sure you go back to the electrical panel and turn that breaker off. The inspectors do not want to show up on site and see that the breaker is already on, the customer's charging. They get a little sissy fit because they want to be the ones to give the authorization to actually power and use the device. So to protect your rear end, when you leave the house, turn the breaker off. Now, once you leave the house, uh, advise the customer, hey, it's your house, you do what you want. The charger needs to stay off until after the inspection, but once I leave, who's to tell you not to turn it on? And 99% of the time, when you leave, they turn the breaker on and charge their car. They make sure that everything's working properly. Just remind them to make sure that the breaker is turned off prior to the inspector's arrival. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. I'll be glad to help you and walk you through any kind of difficulties you have. Yeah, I'm here for you guys, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. It's pretty simple. And these Tesla chargers, you can do power sharing. You can set up several chargers, 2, 3, 4 chargers off of a 60 amp breaker, and they all have one breaker, but they all use the power individually. So if there are 4 chargers charging at once, they only get 20 amps each. If it's only 2 chargers at the same time, 30 amps each. Or you can have it set up where one vehicle gets 100% charging, and then when that's completed its charging, then the next vehicle goes in at 100% as well. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hit subscribe if you're interested in seeing more videos like this. Take care.